Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to OBEN Daily once more. In this show, we do discuss celebrities, we do talk to experts, and today we have one of the most exciting and professional individual from Cameroon here. His name is Dr. Junior Gaba. He is a postdoctoral candidate at the Southwest University in Chongqing, China. Welcome, Doc.
Thank you, and thank you also for the invitation.
Yeah, we
It's
are
a
happy
pleasure to
to
join you.
Yeah, we are happy to have you here. And today we are going to ask, we're going to have some questions for you. Very many audience are interested to know what happens in China when students graduate. Do they need to go back home or stay back in China and work? And we are going to use Dr. Jin Gaba as one of those unique example. Dr. Junior, you work here as a postdoctoral fellow. Um,
Hmm. So
how
that,
did that happen?
well, first of all, I want to thank you for this opportunity to try also to tell people what is going on when you finish your school here in China.
Mhm.
It was really not easy. It was not easy because first of all, when we leave our country, when we leave our home country, we don't expect usually to stay there where you are going. You just think, okay, I'm going to do my school and come back home.
Mhm.
And then one day suddenly you wake up and say, okay, there's some opportunity. You can stay here, work. Why not? Far away from your country, far away from your family, for everything. The culture is different. The structure, the organization, everything is different. So the first thing that happened is you have to think, okay, what is the best opportunity for me? Is it to go back home? Because some of us, when we leave our country, some of them, before we leave our country, some of them started already to work. They have job home. Some of them know. Some, they have also their parent who have some organization or company. But in my case, I was just wondering why not? Should I try or not? So one day I decided to try to apply and start to work as a postdoctoral fellowship. So it was really, really difficult because it's a big decision of your life. You have to stay far away from your family for a certain time, let's say 2 years, because the postdoctoral can be 2 or 3 years depending on the school, their contract, and also certain condition. They can extend if they want also.
Okay.
But when I finished my school I think at Fujian Agriculture and Forestry University, I asked myself why not, why I can't just apply here in China and get a job.
Mhm.
What I did, I applied into school, exactly Northwest Agriculture and Forestry University, and another school in Jiangsu. I think it was something like Southwest University, something like that. Both of them called me actually. But when I checked the profile of the supervisor, I was very, very, very interested to the one in Northwest Agriculture because he has some good journals online and then in really, really reputable journals also. We publish, sorry, some good article in really reputable journals.
Okay.
So I decided to go there. So here I can just give you it's a brief description of what happened during that time. It's not like someone called me and said, no, you know what, instead of coming back home, you can stay in China. No, it was my own decision. And right now, I just thank God because everything fly and I didn't have any issue. The contract was okay, the
Mm.
work okay, and then I learned a lot. I learned a lot.
Okay.
So people don't have to be scared.
Okay. Within
People
your
don't have to be scared.
discussion, I have some few questions which I wanted to ask in between, but I never wanted to cut you short. You said
Mm.
there are struggles while you are applying, and it's not easy.
Mm.
I want to ask what could be the difficulties when it comes to candidate applying for a postdoctoral position in China to be specific.
Okay. Thank you for the question. It's a really good question because the first problem is I can say the schedule, right?
Mhm.
You have a timetable which is very short.
Mm-hmm.
before your application, usually when you want to graduate in China, the student graduate here between, if it's not in June, it's in July. Okay.
Yeah.
But by March, they have already to know if they pass or not. So people usually they have one step here where you have to a blind review. You have to send your thesis outside, and then they review. And then after that, you know if you are going to graduate or not. So during that time, you have to start already to contact some supervisor. Okay. So
Yeah.
even before you know if you are going to graduate, you have already to start contact some supervisor and ask them and tell them like, okay, you are going to tell them like, I want to work with you. This is my CV, and I have this skill, promoting yourself. And so I realized it was a bit difficult. It was a bit difficult for most of the people because for me, in my case, I think by May I knew already that I'm going to graduate because in my school they asked only one paper and I had three, and the thesis, they finished to revise already my thesis, so everything was okay. That's why I started. But for some school they do it too late, maybe in May. But for us, we started in March, so we had time to know before even I think beginning May, you know already if you are going to graduate or not. But in some school, the students are waiting until June. So there's this small game between the time you know already that you're going to graduate and the time you have to start to look for a position.
Okay.
So it's a bit risky.
Within your take here, I understood that timing is very important for the application
Mm,
for the postdoctoral position. So based on
mm.
your experience as a doctor now and a postdoctoral candidate, what time would you advise students who are about finishing their PhD, specifically in China, to apply for a postdoctoral position? What time is suitable?
Uh, it's very interesting question, but it's a bit difficult because every school, they don't have the same organization or the same timing. Because when I went to Xi'an, I realized there even by May, people don't know if they're going to graduate or not.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends of your situation and if you know really you fulfill the requirement because to graduate you have to fulfill the requirement. Some schools they ask to their PhD student to publish three papers or there are two. So if you know you didn't publish three papers, for sure you're going to fail. So no need to start to apply or to look for a position. But if you are confident or you got already the feedback that your thesis passed the blind review and you publish already the number of papers they ask you, so if you fulfill the requirement before even they give you your certificate or your degree, whatever, you can start to look for a position. So there is no really a specific time I can indicate here actually because the school they
Okay.
don't have every school don't have the same. All school in China don't have the same organization.
Okay, I
That's,
understood that point. So
mm,
everyone viewing us will understand that every school has got its own organigram and they have their own way of
mm,
doing things and their expectation. But there is something which I
so,
also picked out of your discussion here. You said it depends on the publication quality. So what do you
mm.
mean by this?
Well, when you're a PhD student, for those who started there, because it's not easy to start to publish during your master program, you know, because you are new and usually the experimental design is not strong enough to use the data and publish. So, but some can do it. In my case, I didn't have any paper during my masters. So what I can advise here, you have two options. The first option is to have a lot of paper.
Mhm.
What I mean by a lot of paper is average quality paper that you publish in major or good journals, two or three at least. Or you can look for one good, very good paper, but usually those papers take time.
Mhm.
Why they take time? Because sometimes the time review is too long. You can spend 8 months, 1 year, 2 years, depending to the journals. Or it can take you time because you have to really pay attention about all the details. So I can take an example. In my case, I published at that time three papers.
Mhm.
I published three papers, and they were, I can say, it was just in mid-June journals at that time. And not only three papers, I also worked three papers as first author. I have to specify because it was not only three papers I published at the time. I published six. So I had three other papers I published with my lab mate. I was second author, sometime at the last position, but it doesn't matter. So your option, you as PhD candidate, you can whether try to publish a good paper, two or one good paper, because someone who have a paper in Nature journals, for example, Nature Communication or Nature Climate Change, you're not going to compare yourself to another. It's not going to compare yourself to someone who published, let's say, in Katina, because Nature Communication is sample factor 18. I don't know if the grade changed, but last year it was 18. And Katina is 6. So I can have three papers in Katina journals, sample factor 666, and someone have one paper in Nature Communication. For sure, if I'm the supervisor, we want to hire someone, I will go for the guy who have the paper in Nature Communication. You see, so the quantity doesn't matter here. You have to look for those. You have to just take the right decision and stick on it. So my case, I was just how to say lucky. At the beginning of the beginning of my program, I just decide with my lab mate. Okay, we decide together. Okay, let's publish many paper as we can. So we didn't know about this game of the paper quality, the journal quality, the impact factor. We just decided to collect a lot of data and publish as many papers as we can. So at the end of our program, we had four papers. I had three, four, yes, but three. One was not one paper was not SCI, and then that's what really gave us opportunity to and many chance increase our chance to get a job because actually it's also working here in China as postdoc.
Okay.
Doctoral candidate.
So, for our viewers here, I have to summarize and let me be very specific here. Based on
Okay.
what I gather your thoughts here, you said generally quantity doesn't matter, but quality in
Mm-hmm.
summary here. And if
So,
there are individuals who are expecting or hoping to join the postdoctoral process here, to focus on the
mm,
quality of their papers. And specifically in China, they do admire SSCI paper and SCI papers. That is Social Citation Index papers as well
so,
as Science Citation Index. And maybe in other parts of the world, this is not very paramount, but here in China, it's of very, very great significance. If you must apply for a postdoctoral position, because this is a part where they used to actually shed out some candidates to make sure that they can select just a few, because of course the position is very, very tough. So you said you publish up to about six papers, and there
yeah.
is this conflict usually in terms of authorship. And you said you publish about six papers, and those you have only three which you were the author. What would you advise for individuals who move around publishing and adding their names wherever without considering this option? Let's talk about position of authorship and corresponding author.
Mm-hmm. Okay. First of all, I want to specify something. It's not only that issue of the quality of the paper that concerns around the world. It's not only China, first of all.
Oh, yeah.
So even right now, if you're in China and you publish one paper in natural communication or global GCB, global chain biology,
Mm-hmm.
you submit your CV in another country and you want to work there. I can confirm, I can for sure tell you that that supervisor, you're going to attract his attention. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not only the context not only about China, but let's go to your concern. Most of the time, they only consider you as a good quarter, let's say it in bracket, a good quarter when you are in the second or at least the third position. But
Mm-hmm.
after those positions, really, someone is just going to hide your name, but you can't really use that paper, let's say, to value yourself. Okay, so it's usually better to have either the second position or the third position. It's very important what I'm saying because in many systems where I was in introducing my information, my about all the paper I publish.
Mm-hmm.
They usually ask you to put the paper where you're first author, and then the paper where you're co-author, but they don't. When you try to click and see the rank of the position they consider, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't go up to three. So even in those international systems, they recognize you really as someone who had a significant input in one document if you have the second or the third position. You see,
Yeah.
that's how I knew that. Okay, nowadays, if I want to work with someone, and you don't put me as a second or third author, I will not. I'm not interested. Maybe at
Okay.
least if I'm the corresponding author, yeah, I can take. If I'm the corresponding author, I can put myself as the last position. I don't really care. At that time, I don't care because I'm the corresponding author. You know, the corresponding author is the one who have the most value position, whatever the position you have in that list. Because the corresponding author is the one who is going to share his information, and if someone want to contact him for, I don't know, collaboration, scientific collaboration, or even to even ask you your expertise, he can invite you actually because one day we published a paper. I think it was about wildlife, and I was a corresponding author. In the Benin and Congo, two professors called me, they contacted me, and they asked me if I can teach them how I apply the methodology. So I realized at that time, okay, being also the corresponding author is very, very, very important, and
Mm-hmm.
the opportunity it can give you. So to summarize, I can say it's usually better to take the second or the third position if you want to be a co-author in one paper.
Okay, I like to ask you another question. Thank you for giving us those general information. I'd like to ask you, what are the benefits of being a postdoctoral fellow? Just for the viewers, we were told that in China, at least, the postdoctoral fellow enjoy one of the best category for work permit in China, which is the highest in China, and they are treated as maybe a first class worker within China. Well,
Mm,
let's hear from the horse's mouth, and maybe you can tell us more.
okay. Um, okay. About this question, when you work as postdoctoral candidate here, they put you straight in category A because in China they have different categories of workers. They have
Mm.
different category, and the first category is category A. So it's the highest category here in China, first of all. And secondly, in terms of salary, very interesting. I can assure you that
Mm-hmm.
compared to other country,
Yeah.
compared to other country, it's difficult really to do better.
Okay.
Not because it's too high. Let me clarify this. Not because it's too high. It's first of all, it's very, yeah, compared to most of the country is high, and when they give you that money, it's after tax, you know,
Yeah.
and that money is that money is, I can say, it's very high here because the level of life is not really, life is not expensive in China. You know,
Mm-hmm.
food is very cheap. House, yeah, house also. The land house not so expensive. They give you that money just after tax. You don't have to pay anything else. But I will take an example in Swaziland where I had an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
That supervisor who wanted to hire me. He told me, okay, this is the salary. It was something approximately, let's say, 40,000 RMB. But in that same 40,000, he told me that the insurance fee is going to cost me at least 15,000. And then he also said the rent house is going maybe to take also 15,000 or 20,000. So at the end of the day, when you realize you had a big salary, but when you remove the tax, you remove the house expenses, you remove even what you have to use for your food and everything, you don't get something at the end, you know. But here in China, even after paying those things, you still realize that, yeah, I'm not working for nothing, you know. I have a good salary, and I enjoy myself.
Okay,
So,
Junior,
mm,
thank you. I'd like to ask, we have about 9 minutes for this first session.
oh, okay,
Just
okay.
a quick drop here in what you asked, what you said here. I want to ask, generally it said that to whom much is given, much is expected. I want to ask for
Mm,
our general viewers who are there, at least from my understanding and basic research, I could understand that in China, a postdoctoral fellow can receive about um, 10,000 RMB to 30,000 RMB, depending on the university and their ranking. And the other part is that
mhm,
at the end of the completion, which usually is between 2 years to 3 years, the individual can have some other packages which are given to this individual. And the postdoctoral fellow is also
mhm,
entitled to some money after a successful project approval. That is, an individual will submit a national or a local project. He or she can be awarded up to from
mhm.
600 to about 1 million RMB. This is huge money. So, like I said, to whom much is given, much is expected. So, for your own cases here, you have two cases here. I'm saying the previous postdoctoral position as well as the current one here. What was your expectation or your goals or maybe the target from your university? Did you meet that?
Okay. During my first contract, okay, let me say this first before I jump in my case. Is everything depends to the contract because some school they have high expectation or they want to hire very competent, you know, candidate. So it depends to the school, it depends to the contract, it depends to the objective. So we can't just say okay, all of them are going to give you a lot of money. No, no.
Mhm.
Let's be honest here. Sometimes based on your profile, they know what you're able to do, you're able to produce as a result. And sometimes also it can be a challenge, you know. The
Mhm.
supervisor can say, okay, I'm going to pay him a lot. But when I see based on his previous work, previous article, paper he published, he can do it. Okay. For my case, I published three paper and then that Professor Uzo, he called me, he said, okay, I'm interested, I saw your profile, let's work together. And I was like, okay, cool. But during the contract, I knew it's going to be really a bit tricky, you know, to fulfill all those requirements because for my first experience, the guy asked me to got a grant to get a grant, an international, not national, an
Mhm.
international grant. So I have, and usually those projects, it's not only one professor who apply for that, it's a group of professors who have idea, they write the project and then they submit. So at the time we were establishing the contract, I told him, you know what, instead of including this in the contract, let me add another paper. So at the beginning, he wanted me to publish two papers. I said, I prefer to publish four papers and you remove this one. So that's how we switch that clause. We remove it. So to four paper. And at the end of my contract, I published five paper
That's
instead of
good.
four. So, so uh, for example, here in at Southwest University, they asked me to publish three, but they specified in one paper less than a per factor six. See? So
Mhm.
it depends to the supervisor, to the school, which kind of requirement they try or okay, which some of them also they're ambitious. They want to have a good paper and good journal. So
Mhm.
depending of their where they want to go or you know at which step actually they will try to push you up, you know,
Mhm.
to fulfill the requirement. If yes, of course, they will give you some money at the end of your contract. Even that is supposed to be in your contract too.
Mhm.
Because my first contract, I didn't have that. This kind of special award they give you if you fulfill the requirement. But here, they say, okay, if you do that, you are going to have some kind of money. And it's usually good to try to apply for those grants because even as a researcher, you have to try it. It's a part of your job, getting a grant for your school, because first of all, it being